You're watching Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. Sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of God. Welcome back to another episode of the Footy Fantasy Podcast. I have our very good friend Henry here. Henry, what's going on? You okay?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You're one of the few Arsenal fans we can tolerate here. So, yeah, always good to have you. I don't know if how long you're gonna stay humble, but hey, we'll see. We're also getting joined by Steven in a little bit. I think he might just be running late, and he's a Spurs fan. But since we have Henry here, we'll just get started, and Steven might join us later. Oh, there he is. Speaking of the devil. Hey, Steven, what's going on, bro? I was just introducing the guests. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Good to see you, man. You're looking happy these days, man.
Oh, me? Look, I'm just. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, bro. That's the life I live right now. Because it may appear that I'm happy, but trust me, I'm not happy with what I saw about an hour ago. That was crazy. Oh, yeah? I don't know what's going on with you guys, but. Before we go into anything else, just a few housekeeping points. We are on YouTube at Footy Fantasy, and Twitter we're at Footy80 Fantasy, and on Instagram it is Fantasy Footy. And if you like the intro song that played before we went live, Soji made it. He's our resident music producer here at the Footy Fantasy Podcast, and his handle is SJ Music on Instagram. Now, without further ado, let's just dive right into it. We just witnessed a madness, and I know Steven is like, I don't think Steven is hurting as much as I am hurting, because you're like, you're very logical, you coach as well, so you probably approach this from a more technical, logical / coaching perspective. I'm just approaching this from a fan / hater perspective. So tell me what happened to your team. Like, what did I just watch, and why did you guys look like that today?
Okay, well, first of all, you have to realize that for my mood, it is not going to be dependent on Tottenham games. I told you, I think on a show like that, I dissociated from Tottenham affecting my mood about 3 years ago. When I'm in Montreal now, when I still lived in Toronto, like during the Conte era, because I go by the fan club, we have a club that's a Tottenham club, Tottenham bar,
Yeah.
And man, the things that the fans were saying, the way that the fans' opinion differed from what the coach was trying to do is too wild. It's too wild with Spurs, The Spurs fans are like, you got a girl who, like, if you have any of you are married or you have a wife or girlfriend, when you got a girlfriend that thinks she's an 11, but she's really a 7. Now, a 7 respectable.
Yeah.
But an 11, there's a level of lack of humility that comes with it.
Yeah.
To the point. That's why you see our fans doing things like booing the team, booing the coaches. They're very quick to do that, And I didn't agree with letting go of Mourinho in the first place. So we'll come to Mourinho. Anyway, Anyway, on today's game, last week, or what was it, 2 weeks ago, whenever I was on here last, I said, I didn't think Frank had what it takes. I think Frank's first press conference for Tottenham needs to be studied by all of us. All of us are young, growing men, right? That need to be studied with regard to what not to do when speaking publicly as a leader. From his first speech, he said, the one thing I'm going to assure you of, I'm quoting him, 100% we're going to lose matches. You need to go see it. So y'all haven't seen it. I study coaches because I'm trying to learn from them. So I immediately want to see somebody I can learn from. And how the things you can learn from Frank, but how the position affected him, it should be studied. It should be studied how that big club position affected him. So anyway, he's going 100%. We're going to lose games. I've never seen a team that didn't lose games, except maybe Arsenal and Preston. I can't say Arsenal. I'm like, bro.
Wait, he said that?
Are you actually giving props to Arsenal in your first press conference, bro?
Yes, he did give props. And that was the beginning of his downfall.
You got to watch that press conference, man. You got to watch it. Anyway, so let's just go on from there. In that, the point I'm trying to make is that from that press conference, it was downhill and downhill and downhill to the point that as at 2 weeks ago or a week ago when we got Igor Tudor in, I was very firm in lowering expectations because the problem that we have now, it's already downhill. This is not like in years past when Conte came to the club or Mourinho came to the club, or even further back when Redknapp came to the club, where you got a new coach and you have good players, actually great players who are not being managed properly. This is a different situation. We don't have good players for the most part. Our best players are our two defenders, Romero and Van de Ven. We have some injured players who you could speak of, like Kulusevski. But for the most part, we don't have great players on the team. So do you see that the job is different for a coach coming in? You're not coming in to manage a team of stars properly, like where you have a Luka Modric and Huddleston and Gareth Bale, and you got to manage them right. No, you're coming in to Xavi Simons, a player at Premiership level. I think I said this once, but I'm telling you, I need to demonstrate this for people to just understand that one of the basic skills you should have as a player, as a midfielder at the top level, is simply being able to check your shoulders, see where the defenders are, so that when the ball comes to you, you already have a plan, and your first touch away from the defenders.
Yes.
Xavi Simons does not have that skill. It's not in his bag. It's just not. So I have no hopes at all for him at our club. And that is our only creative player in the squad right now. I'm trying to let you understand the dire position of the skill level of the players at the club. That's our creative player, and he does not have the skill. We look past him to Madison and Kulusevski and maybe Kudus, who's more of a winger.
Yeah.
So a coach coming into this has more than a job to do. He needs to find out how to make a team create apart from the regularly popularized creative players, such as you would say Sim. I don't even want to mention his name as a creative player right now. Now, he can be a creative player in PSV. He can be a creative player at some La Liga team, or Leipzig. The Premiership is a different beast. If you put me in the Premiership, I would look like I don't know what I'm doing. I accept that. So every player there's levels like that. At Premier League level, that guy should not be playing in a game like this. I'm not going to put it all on him because there were other things that happened in the game. I said I was going to watch Igor Tudor in his first 5 games. We have North London Derby, you got Fulham, got Crystal Palace, got Liverpool, got Nottingham Forest. So 5 pretty tough games. There's no game in there where the opponent doesn't care about the game. They're all see how much it meant for Arsenal. That's how much it's going to mean for Fulham, for Crystal Palace, for Liverpool, and for Forest, who's also in a bad position. Okay.
Yeah.
So Igor Tudor coming in, I want to see how he was going to deal with Romero being out.
Yeah.
How he was going to deal with solidifying our midfield, and how he was going to somehow set up a framework for us to create without having creative players.
Mm-hmm.
See, Conte would do that by being very solid in defense and then maybe going to wing backs he could rely on. We don't even have 2 fit wing backs. So I expected Igor Tudor would say, this is a derby. I got to be solid defensively, and I don't really have creative power. So let me go 4 in the back. Okay? It's a derby, so I got to go 4 in the back to be solid. Mm-hmm. And also, I got to go 4 in the back because I don't have wingbacks. Only fit wingback is Spence. Yeah. Somehow, Igor Tudor still felt that he could play 3 in the back. Mm. And what he decided to do was use Spence and then Gray, who is never a wingback.
Yeah.
Never. Maybe this is the second time he's played it. His first time was horrific. Gray came to us as a midfielder, creative midfielder at the championship level. Sometimes he can play defensive. Sometimes he'll play in the back.
I've seen him play in the defense.
In the back 3, but it's not been good. It's not been good. Wing back, he doesn't have the legs for it. It's just I can't see how Tudor decided that. But okay, fair. You've done that. Now he decides to take Palhinha, our only good defensive midfielder, and pull him back into that back 3. I wouldn't have done that, especially because Bissouma has been weak for a year now. Bissouma has been weak to the point we thought he was going to leave. He's been having all kinds of problems at Spurs. He had a case, some legal case. I don't want to mention it.
Yeah.
Then he got past that. He was going to leave. Somehow he stayed on because we've had so many player problems.
And the whole laughing gas thing, what's that? The balloon thing he was doing?
That too. Before that, there was another case. Anyway, just so weak to put Sarr and Bissouma. Sarr's not a defensive player. Neither is Bissouma. So you know already you have problems once you see that. And I can understand the reason because we have a hole from Romero leaving, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought this was a game for us to go 4 in the back and have Palhinha in the middle. Now we go into the goals. It's just crazy. From the beginning, we just get Eze unmarked in the box, having 2 touches on the corner. Palhinha standing in front of him. If you go back, watch it. Palhinha looking at him. Okay.
Yeah.
Second goal, ball goes to Gyökeres. Same thing. Palhinha's looking at him.
Yeah.
Gets the shot. Then you get the third goal that you got Eze jumps in and wins the ball in between Sarr and Bissouma. And Arsenal get a little scrappy goal. It goes to Saka. Then Palhinha's tripping over his feet, and Eze gets the ball again. Then you get the last goal. The fourth goal was the worst because we had only 2 central defenders back instead of 3, and Gray is all the way out of position. You can see he's running from behind Gyökeres. That's why Gyökeres is able to score. By that point, though, I think mentally they had gone.
It was done,
but I just can't see how you go 3 in the back, first game in, with only 1 fit wing back in a North London derby. I don't understand it from Tudor, but I'm not going to make a judgment on Tudor yet. I'm still going to keep it. I'm going to wait for the 5 games.
Yeah.
But overall, to your question, it's not so much about how have we played like this. I expect this because, again, the team's in a bad moment, and the problem is a unique one. It's not the same problem from before where Tottenham have good players. These are a lot of substandard players, man. I'm telling you. If you looked at on our bench, we had 3 strikers: Richarlison, Solanke, Tell. none of them I would rely on to come in and change the game. And then the rest of the 5 players were academy players. You know, there's a bit of an issue. We don't have the players for this one. If Tudor does this, he will be smoking something right. You know, to do this to actually be the Italian Sam Allardyce, of which I don't know why they call him the Italian Sam Allardyce, because like I said last time, he's only done it with one team, saving from relegation, Udinese. If you go in and look,
I thought it was Croatian and
no, because he's been in Serie A. Because he's
been in Serie A.
My point is, he's only done it with one team, Udinese.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to you, Henry. But what I expected, and I know he's new. This is his first game. Of course, we can't make judgments based on this first game, especially against the league leaders. But I expected at least a little bit of some type of solidity defensively. This man, I from his day, I didn't watch him when it was at Udinese, but I saw him I saw his football at Juventus. I'm kind of familiar with the Tudor football. Like, he's a haram football type of manager, right? And I know it's Ramadan, but I expected to see haram football today. I needed to see terrorist football, like defensive Antonio Conte, no attacking intent whatsoever. Just close up shop, close the shop. And what do we know about Arsenal? We've at least what we've seen over the last few games, even since 2020, since the calendar year started. Arsenal usually doesn't play well when teams surrender the ball to them, right? We saw it against Wolves. We saw it against Manchester United. We saw it against Brentford. Like, when you bring the fights to them, that's when they kill you and they pick you off, right?
He doesn't know that. Sorry to interrupt, but he doesn't know that.
I expected Tudor to pull up with haram football today. Forget the halal thing. Forget the Ramadan thing, bro. Like, pull up and close the shop. Close it off like a Nigerian police checkpoint, bro. Close it. Do not let anyone pass. But how do you let Victor Gyökeres, this man, come on now. This man had freedom in the box. How? Man are taking 2-3 touches in the box. I don't get it. But I hope you guys do not get relegated. But I will say this: if this is why Arsenal wins the league, brother Steven, you might need to get relegated, bro. Because I did my job. When I went to there, when I played Arsenal, I did my job. I did my job, right? And I will be damned.
Get out of here.
Because of today, I see Arsenal's armpits at the end of the season. Absolutely not. I'm not doing it. Henry, tell me what did you think of the game?
Yeah, traditionally, North London Derby are typically very emotional type games. Typically it's always about I find it's usually more about intensity and a little bit less more than tactics. I'm not saying tactics is not part of the game, but it's a lot more intense just because of the rivalry. I feel like Arsenal, even though despite the victory, we're in our own little crisis. So this is sort of like, in my own opinion, glossing over some of the crises we've been having. The one good thing that comes out of it, in my own opinion, is Eze and his performance. I know he had a similar performance this first game, so him having a similar performance today shows that it's not a fluke. I've been clamoring personally and saying Odegaard has been on my own fraud watch or fraud alert. Just because of the
sentence.
Yeah, just because I just feel like Eze fits more with the type of system and being able to unleash Gyökeres to be much more productive for us. But overall, if you look at that first half, the game was close, right? So I don't even want Arsenal. Yeah, we got the victory, but I don't want us to, Arsenal fans and including myself, to get carried away. There's still certain things in that game, especially after the substitutions, that should still set off alarm bells, right? So good performance with getting, the 3 points today, which we needed, and the goals to help, goal difference, because that probably would come in handy at the end of the league. But again, today's game was really about like midfield control and Arsenal having better defensive spacing. We kept it a bit more compact compared to Spurs. Spurs, they were more distances between the defenders, so it made it, they were not as tight. So Arsenal,
More compact.
it seemed every time we were always getting second balls better. So that's what helped us. Game management was excellent too, up until the substitution where Odegaard came in and also Martinelli. Sometimes, if in my own opinion, Arteta tends to overthink things sometimes, or he's too regimented in how he goes about his approach. Because I think, I would have opted more at that point. We're up 2 goals, and that lately Arsenal has been, faltering towards the end of the game. Go more with like a defensive solidarity, bringing like what's his name?
Nogard?
The guy we got from he's not Brentford. I can't remember his name. I'm drawing blank now, but he's one of our midfielders. Shore up that midfield. Still leave Eze in. Maybe take out one of the wingers and just have more defensive stability to help the team. Because you could have easily seen there was one ball that Zubimendi gave away to the Spurs winger, and if they had scored that goal there, then it becomes turmoil again, and that game could easily have turned on its head and ended in a draw. So yes, I'm happy we got the 3 points. There's still certain things I'm saying that I'm not happy about. But overall, what matters right now for Arsenal is getting points on the board, because City is right there.
Quick question, and Stephen, I wanted to chime in here too. I've heard Arsenal fans complain a little bit about Eberechi Eze, and part of the complaint has been directed at the coach. Like, why are you trying to shoehorn Bukayo Saka in the 10 when you can just put Eze in the 10 and move Saka? Because in the last, I've seen Arteta put Saka in the middle, Madueke on the right. I think like Trossard on the left, and people are like, brother, just put Eze in the middle. But it looks like Arteta is the type of manager that doesn't really fancy players to take themselves off the leash, like players who express themselves, players who play best when there is no leash on them. And Eberechi Eze is not one of those players that you can put a leash on Eze and get the best of him. So like, is this how Arsenal wins the league? By just playing Eze and understanding that he's not the kind of player where you're not gonna get him to play to any like documented regimen. Just give him freedom and let him play and see what happens with that. If you win, you win. If you lose, well, then that's the cost of doing business with Eze. Like, how do you approach that? Henry, you go first, and then I'm gonna go to Stephen.
Okay. So I'll give you the 2 sides. In Arteta's defense, I think one of his Achilles heels that he blames Eze for is because he doesn't see Eze as being someone who presses and someone who's sort of like a defensive liability. Eze's strongest suit is not the ability to track back. It's not the ability to, which is not his job. I don't see it as a problem because I don't see it as his job. But Eze is also not the type to press. You see while Odegaard, sometimes you see him even leading the press ahead of the strikers. That's not Eze's strongest suit. So for Arteta, if you know that, even before you bought the player, you know his greatest ability is when you let him play. Regardless of the system, let him play. He's a direct player that looks for spaces, tries to exploit it, takes opportunities. He's more direct, in my own opinion, compared to even Odegaard. So there's a scenario where both can exist. There are games where it will be much more appropriate for Eze. There are games that it will be much more appropriate for Odegaard. In my own opinion, it's playing to their strengths. Identifying, okay, if it's a low block today, let's go with Eze because he can find a space at some point, right? It's just keep going. At some point, something is gonna break. If it's more of a free flowing, the teams are attacking, things are open, Odegaard will be much more appropriate. So again, it's the problem with Arteta where he's so stuck in his ways and stuck in his regimen that he's not flexible. He's starting to remind me about of Wenger in that sense, where because you've assigned that this is what works, you're so rigid and so strict that you don't want to tinker around. And that might be what prevents us too from winning, because Eze is a very direct player. Let him, he doesn't, I have a feeling like he doesn't like players that express themselves, right? Or players with flair. But that's the issue. That's the main issue, in my own opinion. I would say Eze for me should start most of the games, especially those low block teams, the Bournemouth, the Brentfords. Eze should start. And then you can even maybe in the second half, depending on what the results are, see how it goes, right? But that's the issue I'm having, and most of us are having with him.
All right, Stephen, as the coach here, what you think?
I think first of all, just let's keep in mind that we saw Eze today. I know he did good in the previous game, but we saw Eze against Sarr and Bissouma. Let's keep that in mind, always in the context. This is not the midfield pairing he's going to see from any sensible coach, any sensible team as he's going forward in the Premiership. Okay, so Premiership is that. It's ups and downs, and it depends on the matchup. So when I see the coach putting Saka there, sometimes Eze, Odegaard, we can never exactly know all of the coach's thinking, because it may be little injuries. It may be planning for the midweek game, or it may be because he's looking at the matchup of the center midfield pairing that this player is going up against.
Yeah.
All 10s, apart from just how you penetrate, all 10s now in modern football, you got to track back a bit, because most teams are playing with 2 or 3 in the midfield. And so 1 or 2 of those midfielders, opposing midfielders, is going to be attacking your box. So you got to run back. So Eze just needs to incorporate that in his game. The only thing I'll say on this that I don't like so much is, since moving to Arsenal, I've seen Eze drop in terms of his time on the ball. He's carrying the ball a lot less. And that's where I'll agree with what some Arsenal fans are saying about Arteta not letting the reins go to the player, because he wants, I think Arteta's, his bias for a creative midfielder is that Spanish style. And I'm not saying this because he's Spanish, because it's what we see in his teams as he's built them, and how he played Odegaard so much. Odegaard is that player, pick the lock with the passes.
Yes.
So I think he's reining in Eze in terms of, hey, let that ball move. I want the ball to be moving more than you. And we all know this is antithetical to Eze's natural game.
Yeah.
So Eze is trying to find the balance within that. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
But overall, if Eze finds that, the Eze is going to be a different Eze. The Eze like today that picks the lock, finds the passes. He was still making some good passes. Not so much doing it with dribbling. And he still found time. The only thing I disagree with you, Henry, on is he was still pressing. That third goal started with him pressing, being quicker than Bissouma and Sarr, pressing to win the ball. Then he gives the pass to Saka. Saka hits it. It bounces off, and he gets the rebound. That's the one he put in the middle. That started with him pressing. So to give Arteta some credit, I think that this Eze that's going to come out from this will be a better Eze. It might not be the Eze that I love. I love watching Eze hold the ball and dribble, but this is how the European game changes you. And hey, you got to listen to your coach. And it's not a bad thing, because what I would hate is if he tried to make Eze some kind of holding midfielder, some kind of weird move like that. That's what I would hate to see. Like, you can hold, you can play like this. No. As long as he's playing him there in the 10 role, let Eze deal with it. And I trust Eze's maturity and the prayer that he always does when he scores against Spurs. I trust in that to make it good. I don't begrudge Arsenal because I like Eze a lot, to be honest with you. I can't even hate on Eze when he's scoring on us. I can't.
So I'm even happy that you asked like Stephen this question, and it's always good because it gives us a coaching perspective. So Stephen makes some valid points. The little counterpoints though, right, is one, a lot of the lineups typically we all release lineup at the same time, so you really can't predict. You only go by the last few games, what the person has been doing, the coach has been doing, and the players he's been using. If you've watched a lot of films prior to the match, right? The other thing is that other point you did say is you're correct. If it turns out that Eberichi, one thing he learns is to be a better defender and to learn how to press better, and he makes him much more of a total play, improved player as a total package. That will be good. The problem I'm having is, remember, this is the same coach. We've also seen him know that his natural role is a 10, but you're going to play him in an 11. Do you understand? So that's where this distrust for Arteta is coming from. Is because we've seen him before in this weird Arsenal way where we know a player's natural position, but for some reason we believe when it comes to Arsenal we should do some type of conversion therapy. Did you understand? Or playing them with the handbrakes on. That's what we're saying. Play this guy, release the handbrake, let him live with the consequences. Granted, he might not benefit us sometimes, but I believe most of the time it would, there'll be a net positive than a net negative. That's my own opinion, right? And that's where a lot of Arsenal fans just can't wrap their head around what he does with AZ.
Yeah, hear that. Let me. We're gonna move on to the next topic, but I'm gonna take comments. Surgery goes. Spuds are a useless team. I hope they get relegated.
Hey man, look, man, we're in the territory where these comments are gonna come. I'll be surprised if I.
You guys are only 4 points, Steven, above relegation.
No, I'll be surprised if Tudor does it. That's what I said last week. I'm waiting to see these 5 games. I'll be surprised. Yeah. And on this evidence, see, please, I need to say just before we go to the next topic. Okay. People think these days like tactics. When they say, "Oh, a coach with tactics," they always think of some kind of, the high block and the mid block and how many times the player runs forward and the XG of the vertical play of a tactical coach. Simple. We need to defend today. Let's have 4 instead of 3. I'm telling you, basic common sense. That is tactical.
Numbers.
Because that sets the framework for the whole way you're going to create or the way you're going to defend. So when I see a coach that is being termed as tactical, but he's not seeing basic elements, we're not solid. We need to stop conceding goals. You can't go 3 in the back.
You can't.
That's something you do to control the game when you have the 3 defenders to do it, and if you already have a solid midfield.
Yep, exactly.
So it's things like Amorim. It's very good tactically in the, we're going to press and we're going to run diagonal. But, bro, simply you just need to play 2 strikers because you don't need 3 in this game. This is a basic.
That's it. Yeah, it's just basic numbers. It's just basic numbers. Yeah. These new age hippie coaches, bruh. Yeah. Edwin goes, love from Kenya. Come on, you Gunners. Thank you, Edwin. Aya goes, good win for Arsenal and probably Gyökeres' best game I have seen for Arsenal.
Yeah, because Gray is chasing him from his own half and is out of position. Yeah. You can't use this game for Gyökeres, but Gyökeres is a good player. That just triggers me when I say someone having the best game against the worst Spurs in 3 decades. Like, come on.
Yeah, but Steven, you can only play in front of you. So, you can only play what's in front of you because he's even played lesser opposition and he's been shit.
You play what's in front of you, exactly. Yeah. And up until that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's move on to this whole Benfica racism issue and Jose Mourinho's I guess reaction to it. The reason why Mourinho's reaction is important is because as we all know, Mourinho has been I guess some sort of a champion for bringing in African players into whatever team he coaches, and of course he's a great voice in the game. And I'm gonna start with you, Steven. Tell me what were your impressions about I think he's number 25 for Benfica. I'm not sure. I think Prestiani is his name.
Yeah.
Tell me what you thought about that incident. Tell me what you thought about Mourinho's reaction, and just, what do you think the punishment should be? Essentially, I guess.
What the punishment should be. Okay. First of all, once I saw it, I wanted to see what player it was. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I watched several replays of this.
Yeah.
Immediately I saw it. I'm going to say this. I don't believe this is biased to say, but I'm going to say it. As soon as Argentina explains to me the whereabouts and the location of all the black people that were shipped to that country hundreds of years ago.
Yep.
Then once they finish that explanation, I will begin to be surprised by such things.
Yeah.
As up until that point, I'm not surprised by any of it. Once I saw that play. And I have some Argentine friends. These are some things that sometimes they're not able to go into.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting for that explanation for me to be surprised. So my face is just the same face I've had since last Tuesday. It's the same face I have now. No surprise. So that's for Prestiani. I move on to Mourinho. Unfortunately, I'm also not surprised because I know Jose is this. See, the racism thing, it has put his philosophy into question, because I know that Jose's philosophy is I create a unit, me and this team against the world.
Against the world, yeah.
I'm going to die for you. I expect you to die for me. We've heard about so many times Terry and all those players played through injuries for him. So that's how he's going to support his player no matter what. And I saw Jose in a position where he didn't want to support his player, but he can't go against his player, so he has to distract. And that's the mistake he made. He's trying to distract. So this racism situation has put his philosophy under question as like, hey, you're such a person that is for the team unit. Now, will you support the team no matter what, even in this case of racism? Because this is one I don't think he's seen that before. So he has to make that decision now. But I'm not surprised by his reaction. I would never, if you tell me that Mourinho went against his player and called his player out, I wouldn't believe that. That could never happen. That's not Jose. So
at least not in public. At least not in public.
Yeah, exactly. These are things now as a man, he needs to, you're always updating your philosophy. You have a philosophy until something crazy happens. I would expect him to come out and admit where he went wrong. Also, I would say that on the punishment, FIFA said they put in a 3-step protocol, 2 years ago or something. I'm happy that you brought up punishment because the protocol only deals with the immediate moment and the game decision for the referee. So you've introduced a racism protocol that has nothing to say about punishment.
Punishment, exactly.
That already tells you where FIFA had. So if you're to ask me about the punishment, it has to be game bans.
Yes.
It has to be multiple game bans. I won't say a season ban. And there's something that a company mentioned in his interview about it. He said there has to be a scenario where it is two scenarios are considered where the player comes out and apologizes for it, or as you see in most cases, if the player doesn't apologize for it, and there will be punishments warranted for the two actions.
Yeah.
Now, this is all believing. We're taking we're taking Mbappe's word. We're taking Vinicius' word for it, and we're giving credence to it because we see the player cover his mouth. Absolutely. But I would say that the punishment has to be those match bans, and it has to consider, is the player able to admit? If you're able to say those things, you should be man enough to come out and admit what you're saying. Yeah. I've been called the N word. I won't say it just for the sake we're on YouTube. Yeah. So many times inside. When I was playing in Texas, unfortunately, it'd be the Spanish player. I love Spanish people, but I'm just telling you, it'd be always. It's never been a white person. It's always Latin Americans that will call you that because I don't know. That was just their way to get you. I still maintain that the way to defeat it is zone in, just show that through what you do on the pitch. Make sure you win the game, because you can't let them win two ways. They abuse you and they win the game. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But now something needs to be done for punishment. But I just fear that we're never going to see punishment. From what FIFA did, the sign that I'm seeing, we're never going to see a real punishment. I heard of a punishment where they put, 25,000 for a club. And I'm like, that's chicken chain to these players. It's like the bans will really affect the team is what I'll just stop there. And it's sad to see, though.
Agreed. Henry.
I agree with everything you guys have said, but I thought there was a punishment already. I thought it was a 10-match ban.
Oh, I've not heard that.
I didn't know that.
Not for him exactly, but I'm saying for any player they hold or find responsible for both for any racial abuse or
homophobic type thing.
Yeah, homophobic type. Yeah, it's a 10-match ban, which now brings the key.
Wait. Are you telling me there's a punishment for anti-homophobic slurs,
yes,
but not for racial slurs?
No, both. I think the punishment, the 10-match ban is for both. Which now takes me to the second point, which is the most important point. We don't even need to argue. Let's even assume we don't believe in Mbappe, we don't believe in Vinicius, we don't believe anyone. The bros has come out and said, "Oh, I didn't call you monkey. I only said anti-gay stuff to you." Well, I'm sorry that we're not supposed to say that word, but I only said a homophobic slur to you. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Like that's supposed to be better. Like that's supposed to be better.
Ding. It's the same thing. So again, that's why I said I agree with everything you guys have said so far. Mourinho probably did. Mourinho's action is consistent with what he would typically do for any of his players. That doesn't mean, at the back, we don't know what he's doing or what he's saying or what he's advocating for, right? This is someone that supported Mikel, Drogba during tough periods, right? Him and Abramovich back in the days. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? He's probably just protecting his players. Now, the way you go about it, and I don't think, you remember, it's also possible in the heat of the game, it's possible he doesn't even get the full context, right? Of exactly what happened. Now, he could, in finding out now, he should come out too and clear that up. But that player, for me, let's not even talk too much. 10-match ban, automatic. He has accepted it. He has said, "Oh, he didn't call him this certain word. He used this word." Okay, there's punishments. Let's keep it moving. While at it, he's my donkey of the day too, by the way, so we can proceed.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear. I mean, you guys said everything that was on my mind. Look, there is no debate on my end that this he knew what he said. Like you don't get a reaction like that from Vinicius. And look, we know Vinicius himself is he's a very expressive character. Like, he will celebrate in front of you, like he should. Like, I mean, why should black players have to play the meek, reserved? No. Big up yourself, bro. When you score and you celebrate in front of fans, do it, and do it proudly. I have seen Jose Mourinho himself do a knee slide in front of the away fans, right? So, like, that's just part of football. And regardless of what you think about a player's skill or on-field demeanor, look, racially abusing them is something completely that's just wild. Now, there is, we talk about circumstantial evidence and direct evidence. Like, why are you closing your mouth, bro? Why are you covering your mouth if what you're saying is permissible, right? And then you come out and say, "Oh, I was only I used a gay slur or a homophobic slur." Like, that's supposed to be better? Like, "Oh no, I'm not racist. I'm just a homophobe." Oh wow, okay, congratulations.
You played yourself.
Exactly. Congratulations, you played yourself. And to Jose Mourinho, Stephen, you said it right. Mourinho always has this, what do they call something? I forgot the word. It's like
against the world.
Yeah, us against the world, right? We are, everybody hates us, and we will stick together no matter what. I will defend you in public, and you will defend me in public. Now, when we go when we're in the dressing room, we can fight each other or throw shoes at each other and stuff, but we present as a united front. Unfortunately, this was the bad time to do that for Jose. Yeah. As much as he commands a lot of respect, even amongst us Africans, because a lot of our brothers have prospered under his coaching. I think this is one of those occasions where Jose Mourinho's emotional side completely outweighed the logical, commonsensical, calm side of him. And I mean, is Jose Mourinho racist? I don't know. I don't care. I don't think that's a relevant question for this point. But when it comes to an issue like that, the best, like, if you did not want to criticize your player, there are artful ways to kind of like sidestep the issue. You can say something like, well, we're going to deal with it. We're going to, go back and look at what happened, and we'll discipline the player accordingly. You could have said that. Not talking about, the greatest Benfica player, Eusebio, he was a black man. Oh, really? That's the equivalent of I cannot be racist because I have a black friend, right? I can't be racist because I have a black friend. That's crazy. So I think I hope he acknowledges that he has made a mistake. And look, I don't need a public apology from him. I don't care. I just hope he knows that going forward, Jose Mourinho, you've been around for a long time, man. At some point, your emotional side has to take a backseat. It has to take a backseat, and you just have to. You really have to see things for what they really are, regardless of whether your player is involved or whether your player is not involved. And as to Argentina, the less said about that, hey, it's a good thing we all understand, because this is not the first time we've seen it, right? We saw the Enzo Fernandez thing on the coach on the bus, right? We saw, wasn't there another player in this was, I forget what play, it was an Argentinian player as well. Anyway, long story short, there is a lot of education that needs to happen with a lot of our South American, Central American, and even some of our North American Latino friends. So anyway,
you're missing one group too. I'm saying you're missing one group. You're supposed to add our North African brothers.
Hey, those ones. Let's not even.
True. I also just want to say really quickly is like, it is possible that Jose Mourinho is racist. Mm-hmm. It is possible. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I wouldn't be surprised by that either, because when we're talking about these like white or European men who are older, right? If you think about it, they've lived through the 60s, 70s as kids, as teenagers, as in their 20s. So they've come up with a different understanding for the social hierarchy than what is present now. So it's possible, but I don't feel like if I were to try to subtract all the racists from the professional arena, it wouldn't be possible, because somebody's competence has no relationship with their racism. There are many racists that work with us.
Absolutely.
We still got to work with them. They still, if you were to tell me today, I need Igor Tudor or Jose Mourinho, I'll still pick Mourinho because he's competent, even if he was a racist. Yeah. It's like, you can be racist, but do your job.
Exactly.
And that's the only place I fault him on this, is like, okay, you're doing your job. You need to update your philosophy, because it can't just be us against the world, even to the point of this. So what if your player stabs somebody? It's still us against the world?
Exactly.
Like you got to have a limit to where your morality now takes control.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Look, let me take this. Have that morality, so.
Yeah, let me take this comment before we move on to the Nigeria issue. Ayo says, I've always had weird feelings about Jose concerning his reference to black players. He also has a prior calling Galatasaray bench celebrating like monkeys. Well, we will leave that there.
Wow.
Let's talk about this Nigeria World Cup thing. And I know, I know, I mean, it's almost like beating a dead horse, but the topic never is not going away. They say FIFA is gonna, FIFA is gonna call some type of meeting to decide the issue of whether Nigeria should play in the intercontinental playoff thing instead of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If just by way of background, the Nigerian Football Federation is asking FIFA to look into the eligibility of some Congolese players. I think specifically Wan-Bissaka and Axel Tuanzebe. And the argument presented by the Nigerian Football Federation is that Congolese law does not allow adults to have dual citizenship. And because of that, the Congolese Football Federation violated the law by allowing Wan-Bissaka and Tuanzebe to, I guess, play for the national team. And of course, they became citizens before they were able to play. And the Nigerian Football Federation is like, no, you need to cancel that result, and you also need to expel Congo from this, intercontinental playoff, and Nigeria has to go instead. The second part of that is the two players that were the subject of the appeal. They've also played the Africa Cup of Nations. Remember, right? So Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Tuanzebe played for Congo in this World Cup in this Nations Cup that just happened in Morocco, and it kind of had Congo. Let's pretend Congo won the cup, right? Or they came second or whatever. Well, will the argument be the same? Like, do we now strip them of whatever medal or whatever results they got? But Henry, I want you to address this first. How do you feel about the whole thing? And do you even care that Nigeria goes to this World Cup?
First of all, we should be ashamed of ourselves, right? Because on talent alone, should Nigeria be at the World Cup? Absolutely, right? But we have a lot of players, competing at like European levels, that have like really, 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 really good qualities. I think from a financial aspect too, probably a little bit more beneficial for FIFA if Nigeria was in the World Cup, but it doesn't make any sense. By the letter of the law, if you wanted to be strict, yes, there's a case, but it's just, we've gone through the process. We did not qualify. They beat us. Let's keep it moving. Again, the issue with Nigeria has never been about quality. It's much more about talent management, organization, consistency, tactical identity. We've gone through the normal due process. We did not qualify. Let's keep it moving. Now, in hindsight, should Congo clear up the whole issue with those players? Yes. If the law is the law, right? If it's one way, if that's their law, then they should either have a proper explanation. Because guess what will happen? Let's even assume that they even say, okay, we're going to expel them. Now, what's all those other countries going to say? Cameroon, all those other countries that they played, leading to them even making it. They're also going to lay a claim like, why shouldn't it be us? So are we going to now have a tournament of aggrieved teams compete for that one position? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Will it be a round robin? Will Cameroon? It opens a weird kind of worms. We should take the L on this one and just keep it moving.
I hear it. I also want to add the Stephen, I'm going to come to you, but I also want to add the points that before we played that game against DRC, remember FIFA already deducted 3 points from South Africa, right? So we already had a similar complaint against the South African Federation. There was punishment. We still didn't qualify. But Stephen, go ahead. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I have to agree with the Nigerian Federation on this. It's sad to say that I don't normally find the time that I agree with a moral stand that Nigeria takes. It's hard to see us take moral stands. I saw Nigeria and stepping against Burkina Faso and Niger in the recent stuff that happened in the last 2 years, trying to use ECOWAS to prevent what happened and them taking control of their country. And I was very ashamed.
That was great.
The way I look at Nigeria is any small win in terms of morality that Nigeria does, I'll take it. I'll take it because I'm looking for something where I can look at my country and say, yeah, you're right on this. I stand with you on this. And you're not going the sharp way. If it was a sharp thing, like if we were arguing for some reason that we had scored a goal through handball or something like that, it'd be different. I'd be like, okay, no, I can't stand with this. But I think this is actually right, especially because Congo is directly the team that took us out in the playoff final in November. I think it was
December.
If it had been where Congo was in the run-in for the playoffs, it would be a weaker case. But because we played them in that playoff final, it makes sense. And I hope FIFA will do something about it. But I don't have very high expectations just because, like you said, it's like a thread. If you pull this thread, the things that FIFA would have to fix to remove Congo, they would rather do something like retroactively punish, do something. They'll be banned from 2 games in the future or something like that. I think that's what we'll see as the punishment. But I hope that Nigeria gets something. I really hope that they're successful. I just don't see it happening yet.
I hear that. From the standpoint of you should be ashamed of yourself, I don't support Nigeria. Right, like, come on now. I think we need to just let the sleeping dog lie. Just leave it. We've had so many chances.
No.
So many chances.
Not with cheating players, man. You can't.
I know. I hear you. I hear you, Steven. I hear that. Yeah. Now, does this mean Congo should get away with it? Absolutely not. What I think is that the resulting punishment should be, like you said, maybe a future ban, or to remove those 2 players from future competitions, or something like that. So or maybe have the Congolese legislature create some type of exception to the naturalization law or the citizenship laws in Congo, and then in the future bring those players back. But any kind of solution that means Congo does not get to participate in that intercontinental playoff and gives Nigeria the chance, honestly, I'm not for it. And the reason is because of it's because of the we will not be able to justify the logical effects that decision should have. Because if that were the case, Congo should have not qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. Right, because Wan-Bissaka and Tuanzebe both played some qualifying matches for the AFCON. They played all the group matches. They played So do we now unwind the results of those matches Congo has played in the past? I think it's going to be the cascading result from it is just going to be too messy. Now, they certainly should be punished accordingly, but maybe at a future date. That's just what I think. Plus, again, Congo has not been to the World Cup since they were called Zaire. That's in 1974. They were the very first African country to play at the World Cup. Right. And since then, they didn't make it. Since 1974, they haven't made an appearance. So I think let them go, let them play. We'll support them. They're our African brothers and sisters. I want to see the Lumumba thing. I want to see it. Look, at the end of the day, as long as Africa's winning, I like it. Honestly, I like it.
I was with you. I was almost with you until you said that. I'm not going to let you cheat because you're my African brother and sister.
No, they're not getting away with the cheating. They're not getting away with the cheating. The punishment is coming at the future date. That's what I want.
But they're getting to go to the World Cup. So think of the incentive. We're thinking about it as in terms of Nigeria, we should be ashamed. But think about it for the incentive it gives to other teams. So that means you can cheat, put ineligible players, and go to a World Cup. Well, what happens when one of the World Cup teams, let's say Australia in their group, says, hey, you got here with ineligible players.
Yeah.
So FIFA has to think about that too, because it's that, and it's also what incentive are you giving to other teams? I liken it to cases where in youth football, academy football, a lot of teams sometimes cheat. You'll be playing under 16 competition. They'll bring an 18-year-old player. They'll bring a 17-year-old player. And we see these things happen, and it's a goat that gets at me deep, because sometimes you'll go to the ref and the ref will say the player's already checked. Or sometimes you can tell the player is older and they have the papers for him, but you can tell the development is wrong. And this happens in youth football all the time. Sometimes when you're able to catch it, that team goes on and wins something, but they never take that back. So they get the glory of that gold, that medal, and another team loses. So guess what? Next year, when I have an 18-year-old player for my under 16 team,
you're playing 16, yeah.
Maybe I slide him in.
Yeah.
Maybe I slide him in.
Yeah.
So that's I hear other teams.
I hear that, Stephen. I just the reason I'm not with you is because of the logical consequences of what that decision is. Because okay, fine, ban them. Then guess what? Who did Congo play in the AFCON knockout? Was it Cameroon? Was it Congo versus Cameroon?
Cameroon.
Cameroon pulls up, right? Cameroon and Samuel Eto'o. You know he likes trouble, right?
And he will.
Pulls up, and is like, no, I calf, we have to restart the whole competition. Like it's the logical result is just not feasible. Like you cannot deal with the consequences that come from that, and the argument will be logical. So what I'm saying is, yes, we deal with the crime, right? You allocate a punishment that includes banning the actual players that were involved for future matches, and maybe banning, CAF itself for, however many. I mean, not CAF, the Congolese football federation. FA.
No, but CAF at it too. You know why I'm saying that? And you make a very valid point. My next point I was going to ask you and Stephen is, we might also be seeing this wrongly, because FIFA themselves, they deserve an L for this. Because shouldn't there be a database or some type of body verifying the eligibility of these players even before the games go on?
Yeah.
You understand? So this is something that is supposed to even be mitigated. We shouldn't be at this stage having this type of issues.
That's a great point, because I know that when national team coaches start like scouting players, there's a whole database of players and their national affiliations, right? And the decision on whether you go after a player is also complicated by whatever citizenship and naturalization laws are in your country, and the age of the player, whether they've made an appearance for a prior country, right? If they've done so, well, how many appearances have they made before they turn 23 or before they turn 21? Like, all these controls exist to prevent things like this. And if despite all those controls, we're getting to a point where the final round of the African qualifiers for the World Cup, where we have 2 ineligible players, well, then who's taking the L for that? Not 1, 2. Like, bro, and Stephen, these are not no-name players. Axel Twenzebi is a known player. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a known player. Both of them played for Manchester United, right? So it's not like some
random
player that played in Mamelodi Sundowns, right? Or that played in Kwara United. No, these are players that played on the global stage, on the biggest stages of football. So you should have caught it ahead of time. But I completely understand you. We have to discourage, the incentive to cheat. But I think we can achieve both goals at the same time. Lingers in the chat. Let's see what she has to say. Let's see what this girl is saying. Linger goes, kudos of the week goes to John Barnes, who watched the game with us at Kizar today. Donkey of the week of Spurs. I could not imagine a less serious team. Anyway, perfect segue. Stephen, I'm going to start with you. We're going to start with Donkey, because I want to end on a good note. So who's your Donkey of the week?
Man, First of all, Lingeezy, I see you name dropping. I see you've been having coffees and shots.
Hey, Linger, she's big time now. She's on MPT and everything.
Big time. Donkey of the week. I'm gonna give it to Romero, Christian Romero. I'll just say, with what happened today, you really let the team down. As a captain, I really put it on him, especially because, like I said, he's one of our two best players. You can't do what you did and leave your team in this position for the derby. You know, it looked like trash today. Straight up, it looked like trash.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's so a big reason why
Christian Romero is
red card.
Because Christian Romero. So you're saying his donkey status, follows him from last week, or okay.
He wasn't my donkey last week. Who did I make?
Oh, who was it?
Donkey was Eni Aluko last week, but let's not talk about
that
rehash. Yeah. But
yeah,
I didn't give Christian the donkey, but yeah, I'll give him the donkey now with what happened. This is what happens when you have a captain that's not leading properly.
Yeah, and also he's very quick to post shit on social media about the club executives and the ownership and all that stuff. So yeah, you're right. All right, Henry.
What's his name? The Argentine player for Benfica is my donkey of the day.
Cristiani. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, my donkey has to be. I know it seems like a long time ago, but it's still Jim Ratcliffe. For me, it's still Jim Ratcliffe because I did not get a chance to say anything about it last week because I was not on the podcast. You have really showed your ass, and you've really showed. Not that we didn't know, right? Because it's one thing to frankly be racist. It's something else to let the world know that you're one, right? Especially when you are at the helm of a juggernaut that is Manchester United. That is literally ran by said immigrants. Omar Barada, I believe he's Algerian or Moroccan or something. He was born in the United States, right? To North African parents, immigrants running your football club. Your best player, Kobe Mainoo, well, one of your best players, mine is born of Ghanaian heritage. So it's just I know it seems like a long time ago. I don't think we will ever. And Manchester United, we tried to distance ourselves from it by putting out some BS statements, but nah, you cannot run away from it. All right. Kudos. Steven, who's your kudos?
Kudos definitely goes to Nico. I think he's Nico O'Reilly, Man City. Yeah. I watched a bunch of games yesterday, and when I saw the lineup, because their game was later in the day, so I watched it. I said, man, who is it? Foden again on the bench? How come? And I was wondering. I've seen O'Reilly before, but to come up and answer like that, because I think that was a big decision. I think Foden gets the brunt of Arteta keeps trying to, when sometimes you're in a class and your teacher's always harder on you than other people. Yeah. It's like Arteta wants him to be perfect. If he's not perfect, he's not playing.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I get when I watch it, when I'm seeing what's going on. But to have O'Reilly come on and justify that decision like that, it was a pretty big game for Man City chasing Arsenal. And the two goals he scored, I liked, solid goals. Not scrappy goals like Arsenal scores, solid goals.
Yeah, solid goals. Really. Yeah.
Not the, let's fight and let the ball
fight. Let's wrestle the goalkeeper down. Let's tie his hands. Let's remove the goalkeeper's gloves.
Let's score off the rebound like Eze,
Right.
Hey, man, I had to hit you.
I think today was the first day I saw Arsenal score legitimate goals.
O'Reilly is my guy, man. I like
okay, all right. O'Reilly for you. Henry, who's your kudos?
With those last two comments, I respectfully change my kudos. I'm actually gonna give my kudos. I'm very humble, But now I am going to say my kudos goes to Eze. And the only reason is because he's not been the one to have a consistent run of matches. I wasn't even sure if he was gonna be started today. In all honesty, probably thought he was gonna be benched again. He did it one time, and now it's for the 2 times. So Eze is gets my kudos for the week. Just for being consistent against Spurs. So
yeah,
he's the Spursy player at the moment.
Hey, look, man, I don't care whatever happened. As long as Eze didn't get the second hat trick against us, I was happy. I saw that boy get up. I was like, good. I don't know why Arteta took him off. Let the boy have his 2 hat tricks, man.
Yeah. Arteta, man.
My brothers, both of my brothers are Arsenal fans. They would have killed me if Eze has gotten the second hat trick against us today after the first time. Oh no, I was happy.
Arteta, man. Arteta is the kind of guy that'll buy a Ferrari and drive it only in reverse. That man does not take any risks. Crazy. My kudos, honestly, is the entire football club of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Because of Wolverhampton Wanderers, I have hope. Now, Manchester City, of course, they took advantage of that yesterday by beating Newcastle, but that opportunity was given because Wolves did their thing. They did it, because they're gonna get relegated, right? They've given me a parting gift. If Arsenal does not win this league, it will be because of the wonder that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's because I started it. I started this Arsenal downfall when I pulled up to the Emirates and I did my thing. Right. And then it continued when my brother Kayode from Brentford did his thing. And then another Igbo brother. Remember that brother that scored from Wolves? Do you see it? My Igbo brother. Brother, we are here.
Our downfall started 8 games ago, though, slightly before you guys. There were some games where we were leading, and then like 2 back-to-back games we dropped points at the dying moment. So it started about 2-3 games right before we played you guys. You guys was just garnishing. Do you understand? You know how when you get a steak and maybe it's not well seasoned and you're asking for, that's what you guys did. But
those 2 games you had, I think they were not at home. They were away from home.
It doesn't matter, but we were leading.
No, what I'm saying is when I came to your house,
right, it was garnishing.
It was no, brother. I knocked the door in. I jammed. I didn't. I was like the FBI executing a warrant, bro. I rammed the door in. Entered your house, put my feet on your carpet, didn't take my shoes off. Didn't take my shoes off with my muddy boots. Pulled up, put my feet on your table, ate all your food in your fridge. Then I took your wife and kids and left.
Remember that game? Remember that game too? You remember it was tied, right? And it was a last minute.
Yes.
That's why I said 2 games prior to your game, it was the same similar pattern. We dropped, 1 we lost completely, and you guys just said, okay, we're doing this. So that's when I started seeing the red signs, and it's where we are now. I don't know. Even me, I'm Bottle FC Incorporated at this point. I hope they can figure it out because it's gonna be disastrous if we don't win. Hey, the bans are going to be for days.
Don't worry.
If not years.
Just remember, we try to help you. We try to help you, bro. I'm telling you.
We tried to help you. I beat City to help you. But then you didn't. Anyway,
help us, and then you.
Even Spurs try to help you this year. Even Spurs try to help you.
Even Spurs help. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody helped us.
Yes.
That's like, again, I don't know. And again, this season is really funny because this season, even for other top teams like even Man City, and let's not gloss over the fact that this is also affecting Man City. There are games that Man City will have tied in the dying moment or have lost dying moment. So, this season is just interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, thanks. Oh, let me take comments. Akin says Donkey Spurs. Well, yeah.
Must
I
you
see
read
where it
every
goes.
comment, bro? Must you read every comment?
Hey, if I don't, Aya will fire me. I think it goes Kudo, Bodo Glimt, James Milner. Yes, James Milner broke the record for most Premier League appearances. O'Reilly, yes, and Wolverhampton. Yes, we are here. I might buy a Wolverhampton jersey if Arsenal does not win. He goes, shots fired. Henry's about to become a meme. You know what? I don't even want Henry to be a meme. I want like Toby to be the meme. I want Prince Y to be the meme. I want EJ to be the meme. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. Anyway, Henry, Steven, thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing the banter. Thanks for bringing solid analysis and coaching tactician. Anyway, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys. See you guys next week.
I appreciate it.
Good to see y'all, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Peace.
You're watching Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football needs. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. You're watching Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy. It is your steady thing, go meet your football need. Your football need. Banter from rivalries, he sure you go receive. From EPL to Champions League, your eyes go see. Your eyes go see. It's Footy Fantasy. Footy Fantasy.